Welcome to the Own It Powercast, the place to be when you get serious about making big changes and accelerating growth in your life and in your relationships. Finally create the life you've always wanted, living life on your own terms. Learn how to take your fear and turn it into powerful choices that will create sustained change. Now your host, Mary Baker.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Own It Powercast, a place where you can come to get what you need to move yourself forward. Hey, it's Mary Baker and welcome to episode 130. 'Tis the season for self-care. As you know, this month, it's going to be all about how to practice self-care around the holidays with yourself and everyone else. Last week, I hope you were able to join us in our conversation with Joseph Carella, where he talked about how dance and movement are so good for your spirit, along with your physical health. Today, I want to explore more about self-care, to checklist how you're doing, what can easily get in the way, and what you can do to lower your stress. Because I think we're really good at saying, oh yeah, I want a less stressful holiday season this year, or I'm going to do things differently, you'll see. But I think unless we get clear and we get specific, keeping it vague leaves it wide open to reverting back to same old behavior. One of the first aspects of self-care I want to talk about today is self-discipline. So I know we touched on this a little bit last month, but I think it bears repeating and adding a few different things. Your time is one I want to talk about first, and I think it's one that isn't as obvious as money or gifts or things like that. But how do you want to spend your time this holiday season? And why? What does that look like for you, and how would you make that happen? What about your time management? Because in order to make things happen, we have to put boundaries around our time and energy. Are you leaving buffer time in between things for life to show up, for things to happen? Are you leaving time for rest? Have you factored that in? Have you thought about it? What about enjoying the holidays? Sometimes we get into such a rush of doing and making things happen that we don't find enough time to actually enjoy it. So your time is really valuable. And how you value your time shows how much you value yourself. So if you have found yourself running around during the holiday season and frustrated at the end of it, thinking, wow, I didn't get to do things I really wanted to do or spend it in ways I really wanted to spend it, now's the time to be proactive, to think ahead and to plan ahead. And to look at time as a finite resource. There's only 24 hours in a day. There's only so many days in a week. There's only so many days during the holidays. How much are you cramming in? Another aspect of self-discipline during the holidays is the obvious one, money. Spending. Spending on gifts, spending on decorations, travel perhaps. Maybe making your house look fabulous for people coming to see you during the holidays. What about paying for experiences? All of these things are great, but we want to make sure there's budgeting happening here. Budgeting, I think, puts loving boundaries around another finite resource, money, so you can actually feel good about the amount that you're spending and why you feel good about that. You can feel good about what you are prioritizing too, because when we're saying yes to some things to spend money on and no to others, we're showing our priorities. You're also proud of what you are accepting. You're accepting that you can't do everything, or you can try, but there will be consequences. There'll be a credit card bill. There'll be stress over not having as much money left as you wished. The other piece to this that a lot of people don't talk about is they give, and they overgive. Then they feel depleted because maybe some of our giving was rescuing or lavishing gifts on others so we can feel wonderful and needed. So we really want to take a look at what drives our gift giving, what's behind that. So the thought provoker here is, what would my spending look like, you ask, if I truly wanted to honor myself? What have I promised myself this year around how I spend my time and my money? So thinking about those things. And then also acknowledging what easily gets in the way of having great self-discipline during the holidays. Well, the biggest thing is obviously not having a plan, going into it blind, just reacting to things as you go along, allowing things to happen to you instead of you being more mindful and intentional. And not paying attention to the moment when you're tempted or when people ask you to do 5 things you don't have time to do. It's the moment that trips us up. We can have great plans that morning, but if we let them go sideways because of things happening in the moments throughout the day, then we have not honored our plan. So it's really important that you identify what gets in the way for you. I mean, we're all very similar, but we can all be very different too. Where are your weaknesses? Know them going in. And then I want you to figure out a plan for that. Like, what are you going to do in those moments? Another area of self-care I want to talk about is self-nurturing. And we can nurture ourselves in so many different ways. Nurturing means giving ourselves rest. Maybe a nap, maybe downtime, maybe good nutrition, actual good sleep at night if we can get it. For some people, it's daydreaming, being creative, reading, walking, reflection, doing fun stuff with the kids, like making cookies, things like that. Self-nurturing also means reflection, taking time to reflect about what's going on with you right now during the holidays, the end of the year coming, what lies ahead for you, and what moments did you notice today that were important. I also want to remember that the holidays aren't always easy for a lot of people. You could have a loss that just happened and maybe this is your first holiday season. Maybe there are old losses that arise in your heart. Maybe disappointments. Maybe you're hurting right now around other people's choices. Nurturing is honoring that maybe you need to grieve and take a step back and take good care of you. Self-nurturing means working on healthy detachment, detaching from nouns outside of ourselves, from outcomes we can't control, detaching from others, their choices, their behaviors, means having good boundaries. So self-nurturing, taking care of whatever you feel like you need in this moment today and honoring that and not putting yourself last. So your thought provoker for this one is, what ways can I practice self-nurturing this week? What are some things I can do or stop doing that would show myself that I cared, that I was recognizing where I am today and what I really need to feel okay? When we think about what gets in the way for you in terms of self-nurturing, think about what are the moments or times when I find it hardest to nurture me or put me first? Is it when others ask for something? Is it when I go to rescue them? Or is it just that caring for myself feels uncomfortable on some level? So some things to think about there. Another area of self-care, I think, is self-honoring. Honoring what you think, that you make sense. And I want you to tell yourself why you make sense. Validate your needs, your feelings. where you are in life today. Self-honoring means focusing on what you say matters most. It means owning your choices, like we've been talking about, and taking your power back by owning your choices, like we've been talking about. A big part of this, obviously, is setting and maintaining boundaries. Following through on your intentions the best you can. This means holding the no. It means saying no to what doesn't work with what you're trying to do. It's not in alignment. Doesn't mean we don't make exceptions for good reasons. It doesn't mean we become rigid. But it does mean if it doesn't feel right, it doesn't feel right. If you really wanted to stick to a clear budget and your friend really wants to go shopping and you can't afford it, what do you do? How do you honor yourself? How do you say no to things that aren't working for you? How do you say no to yourself? Self-honoring means also honoring your feelings, whatever is going on for you. Good, bad, ugly, or indifferent. All of your feelings. All of your conflicting feelings, perhaps. It's your job to honor your feelings first. It's very important. And along with them usually comes some emotional or psychological needs. Like maybe you need encouragement or acceptance, some time, some space, some help, some advice, some accountability. So take responsibility for what you need to do and be in order to honor yourself this holiday season. It's not up to them to read our mind and know what we need. It's up to us to take care of ourselves first. So the thought provoker is, how will it feel if I continue to honor myself for the most part each day? How might that lower my anxiety? Is it going to feel less stressful, and why? And then I want to think about what distorted beliefs might be in the way of honoring myself. Like maybe old views that it's selfish, or that it's unkind, that my boundaries are ridiculous, that they can't believe, that I would hurt other people's feelings. It's not that we don't have compassion for others. It's not that we don't think about our impact on others, but we have to weigh that against the impact upon ourselves. I think a big part of self-care and our ability to practice self-care is our self-esteem, our self-concept. There are many aspects to this, but the first one I want to think about is your self-talk. Is it compassionate and honest? Or when you screw up, is it harsh and critical and shaming? Or is it loving and encouraging? Can you affirm yourself and own things at the same time? Can you say, yeah, I really blew it, but you know what? It was an honest mistake and I'm right on it to fix it. Does your self-talk include things that you're really proud of yourself for at the end of the day? Even if it wasn't perfect. And you guys know what I'm talking about. Those of you who struggle with that. What is good enough and why? And what is better? What is better than how you operated 6 months ago, a year ago, 5 years ago? Is your self-talk and reflection about things that you're enjoying? Things that you love right now? People you love right now? Things and people that you are grateful for? How well do you express gratitude toward yourself and for yourself? What about compassion and forgiveness for yourself? How is your self-love? And what I mean by that is, how conditional is it really? Is it conditional upon you didn't screw anything up today? Is it conditional upon what you make happen or achieve? If you don't, can you be okay? Who are you outside of those things? Who are you outside of what you do? Not that your work is not an important aspect of identity, but it can't be the only thing. And your performance cannot be defining you as a person. That's too dangerous because none of us are perfect. So your self-love. Not that you make excuses for yourself or you rationalize bad behavior or you allow yourself to keep your head in the sand and stay in denial. We include taking responsibility in self-esteem. That's a big part of it. The other part is believing in yourself and loving yourself right where you are today. Because you can't shame yourself into anything good. So your thought provoker is, how am I working to establish and or maintain my self-concept? What am I doing with that? And if I need therapy or coaching around that, am I doing that as well? Am I seeking help? What am I learning to heal or what am I healing? What have I already healed? What do I know is next to work on? And then what gets in the way for you? Is it focusing too much outside of yourself? Is it practicing habituated self-neglect in any way just to get stuff done? To keep it moving, to keep running? What does your self-neglect look like? Everyone's different. But what have you not done for yourself lately? And that includes taking care of our responsibilities. So those are some aspects of self-care. Because self-care includes, yes, taking care of business, paying the bills, getting the house clean, getting to work on time, being a good person. But it also means taking responsibility for how you want to spend your time, spend your days, spend your money. Because around the holiday season, your normal workload, your day-to-day gets piled on with a lot of additional stuff. And a lot of it's great, and it's a lot of fun, and it's exciting, but it's extra. So how do you take care of you during the holidays? One of the things we have to do is we need to be proactive if we're going to have a good plan for self-care. So first I want you to make what I call an intention list. And when you do this, I want you to think about how you want to feel, what do you want to focus on, and who do you want to be in terms of, do you want to be more serene this season? Do you want to be more in the moment? Do you want to be calmer? What do you want to be? So you would write down a few adjectives around that. For those of you who are really struggling, maybe you just want to get through the day, and that's okay. Maybe you want to be healthier or kinder or less frenzied. Maybe your intention list includes focusing on time with loved ones. So some examples would be, I want to try to be kinder and give people more grace. Maybe I let them in line. Maybe I focus on not being as frustrated. So make your self-care intention list. How do you want to be? Who do you want to be? And how do you want to play that out? And get specific when it comes to the things we talked about today. I want you to be specific about your self-talk if it needs work. What are some affirmations you're going to work on? Do you need a gratitude list? Do you need a budget for your time and your money and your energy? So make your list. Don't worry about doing it perfectly. Intentions are not outcomes. We have no control over the outcome. Anything can happen. But I think that when we go in to the moment with more intention, we get to take our power back in terms of we get to decide who we want to try to be in that moment. We're more present, we're more grounded, we're less anxious, we're less frantic, and we're far less other focused in a good way. So when you have your intention list, hopefully you can share it with someone who can really support it and you by lovingly holding you accountable. Not controlling you, but just checking in, saying, how's that going? How's your budget working out for Christmas? Are you feeling good about that? So get some loving accountability, but that also means you have to check in. And don't be hard on yourself, but just be honest. See, I was doing great until Wednesday, and then I fell off the horse. Okay, I'm going to get back on. And they're going to say, good for you, because you deserve to take good care of yourself. Or they'll talk to you about how to handle a situation that came up out of the blue, that maybe kind of blew up your plan for self-care. You know how that can happen? Very easily. So then also look for the moments. I want you to look for the moments of when you actually follow your plan, of when you practice self-discipline and how good it felt. How when you took a walk, a nap, you journaled, you called a friend, you stopped, you assessed, you took ownership of you. Keep your list handy, keep revisiting it, keep revising it as you need to. Just make sure you don't veer too far off course because of what others want you to do. Okay. So all month, we're going to be talking about different ways to take care of ourselves as we are now in the holiday season and coming into this year. Today, we focused on how you can create a list of intentions for your self-care, for your time, for your energy, along with ways to have an ongoing assessment of how that's going, how to keep you focused, centered, and grounded within yourself. Okay, so thank you for joining me today. Hopefully you can make your plan this week, if you don't already have one going. May you stay healthy and grounded. Breathe, hold on to hope. Focus on your own self-care. Honor others who are doing the same. Be sure to check the show notes at ownitpowercast.com to sign up for the newsletter each Tuesday with the bonus downloads and all the other great information. So, pay it forward, keep focusing on you, and I'll see you next time.
We hope you took away some useful insights and tools you can begin using right away. If you did, please leave a positive review and share on your social media. Because could you imagine if everyone in your life really got it together? Remember, own it now, so you can really own it later.